Michael did $7,000 in sales in his first month selling this product on Amazon. But that number is revenue and not profit. And in this video, we're gonna break down the revenue, all his costs, and profit for the first 6 months of Michael selling on Amazon. Then we're gonna share exactly what his product is later in this video, so make sure you stay tuned for that, as well as how he found this product, how he found a manufacturer, and all his startup costs. And at the very end of this video, we're gonna share the one mistake that Michael made that cost him $12,000. This is the most common mistake almost all new Amazon FBA sellers make, this one mistake, so make sure you stay till the end so you don't make this mistake. But first, let's talk about his first month selling on Amazon. And as I mentioned, he did $7,000 in revenue, but there's a lot of costs associated with selling on Amazon. So what was the first cost that you had?
First cost I had was the cost of my product itself.
And that's the cost to manufacture these units that he sold. And I think you sold around 233 units in your first month, which is pretty good.
Right, and that ended up being around $2,600.
And then the next fee is the Amazon selling fee. And that's the flat 15% fee just to sell on the Amazon platform. How much did you spend for that fee?
That ended up being $1,000 that month.
Another fee that a lot of people don't consider is there's also the Amazon FBA pick and pack fee. And that's the fee to send your product into the Amazon warehouse. And then when you get a sale, they pick it from the warehouse and they ship it out. They pay for the shipping, they do everything. How much did you spend for that fee?
That was $1,450 in month one.
There's still other fees associated with selling on Amazon, like storage fees and just a bunch of other random fees. How much did you spend in those other random fees?
Ended up being, including startup costs, ended up being around $1,500.
Okay, so that's pretty solid. And then the next fee is the Amazon PPC, another thing that not a lot of people talk about.
So PPC in month one, I was a bit aggressive and I spent over $3,000 alone in month one.
And PPC is one of those things that it's one of the best ways to market your product, and it's easy to spend a lot of money if you're not careful. And I think it's good to start off by spending a lot of money, but it can hurt your profit. And so in total, what was your profit for month one?
In month one, my ending profit was negative $2,460.
Now keep in mind, when you're starting a business, you might lose money in the first month. It's a long-term game that you're playing. And most businesses lose money at first. So let's get into month number 2. In month number 2, how much revenue did your business do?
Month 2, we made $6,250.
And let's break down all the different product costs.
So product cost was around $2,100, selling fees around $900, FBA fees were around $1,100, and other fees here and there were $130, but PPC was another big one. That was $1,600 that month.
So for a total profit in month number 2, how'd you do?
Made a profit of $350.
Which is a really big deal. In his second month, he's already making a profit. So first month, he lost some money, but by month number 2, he's corrected that. And the way he was able to do that was by lowering Amazon PPC. And keep in mind, when you're spending money on Amazon PPC, you're testing things out. You're spending a lot of money to see what works and what doesn't. Stop the things that don't work and double down on the things that do work. So that's awesome.
Right, and even though I halved my PPC spend from month 1 to month 2, my rank was healthily increasing, and around 50% of my sales were already coming from organic customers.
And that's another thing to keep in mind. When you're spending money on Amazon PPC, it's actually helping your organic rank. And that brings us to month number 3, and this is where things start to get really exciting. Break it down for us. How'd you do in month number 3?
So month number 3, my rank was getting really healthy, and I made over $12,300 in revenue that month. But after all the fees, I ended up making a profit of $3,440 in month 3.
And so what happened? How come you did so well in month number 3?
So because I was spending so much on PPC in month 1 and 2, my rank was increasing really quickly, and I was getting to Amazon's choice on some of my top keywords. So a lot of people saw my listing, saw that it was high quality, and were just purchasing it.
Now, before we go any further and share the next 3 months of Michael's selling on Amazon, let's share what your product is. And the reason we're sharing what this product is we actually did a video together that was about Michael's first 3 months of selling on Amazon. And in that video, I promised that if that video got 1,000 likes, that we would share what his product is. And that video's gotten over 1,500 likes. So first thing I'm gonna ask you is smash the like button, because if we get 1,000 likes on this video, the next video we do together, we'll share something even more amazing and more interesting. So smash that like button. But this is what Michael's product actually is. And let's talk about how you found this product. Then let's talk about all your startup costs and how you found a manufacturer. So how'd you find the idea for this product?
So I love hosting my friends, and one day I was having a little get together and I invited some friends over, and all of them had keys, a wallet, and their sunglasses, and they were all putting them around the house wherever was convenient. And I thought there has to be a better way to do this. people are going to lose their stuff and no one knows where they left their keys to begin with. So that's when I thought of the idea of having a really quick, small area to just catch all of your things, put your wallet, put your keys, put your sunglasses, and that's what it came to be.
And that's how you know you have a really good idea for a product, if it's something you would buy yourself. And that's what I talk about on this channel, is creating a passion product. Create something that you really believe in, that you would buy yourself. Now, you don't have to be crazy passionate. I'm assuming you're not crazy passionate about selling trays, but it helps that you understand the customer avatar. You understand who would buy this product because you are that person.
Right.
Next question I got for you is, how do you know that this would sell? Because just because it's something you would buy doesn't mean other people would buy it.
Right. So when I was just starting out, I used Jungle Scout, which is a really helpful product research tool, but I was relying on it a little bit too much. I was using it to tell me product ideas versus having a product idea and validating that product idea. So for this one, I came up with this idea. I thought it would be a cool opportunity. So I used Jungle Scout to look and see how popular this item actually was. Are people searching it? Are people purchasing it? Is it competitive as a niche? And once I realized that people were both searching for it and the niche wasn't super competitive, I knew I found a winner.
Now, one thing I want to point out is always try to differentiate your product. Always try to make something that's different or better than the competition. What did you do that made this product a little bit different or a little bit better than the competition?
So the products that were on the market at the time were a little bit bigger, they were a little bulkier, and the color was a little bit lighter. So the way that my decor in my apartment works, we have a lot of deeper browns and greens, and I really wanted something that would match my furniture. So that's when I went to the supplier from Alibaba, asked for samples of what types of colors they could even produce on this wood, ultimately picked one that I really liked that would fit my furniture, and ordered with them.
Now, before we go into all the startup costs, that's something I want to point out. The more different, the more better you can make a product, the bigger of a moat you're going to have around your castle, the less likely competitors are going to come in. And as we're going to talk about later, competitors did kind of start coming into his space, and so that may have been a small mistake that Michael made early on. But let's break down all your startup costs really quick. So we already talked about Jungle Scout. That was, how much was Jungle Scout?
Jungle Scout, so I got a 3-month subscription. That was around $150.
Break down the rest of the startup costs for us here.
So I wanted to get a really good logo made. Design costed about $80, and that included product packaging for my product. Other fees included some Amazon fees like the Seller Central account, which cost $40 per month. Then there was around $250 for samples. Another cost when I was starting out was the DBA, and this is basically like a sole proprietorship, but I needed my business structured, and this was around $180. You also have to pay for barcodes, and that was around $8 for me. I also spent $11,000 on my production run, which was for 1,000 units, and this is because my supplier wanted a higher minimum order quantity, especially because I was asking for custom features on the product.
And $11,000 for a production run is more than most beginner Amazon FBA sellers spend on their first production run. I've had students before that spent around $5,000. That was my student Troy, and then another student, Mina, who spent $1,500 on his first production run. So don't think that you have to spend $11,000 to start on Amazon. But I will say, spending money on Amazon is an investment. Think about if you took $11,000 and you bought a used car, it's an investment in being able to get around town. Now I'm gonna tell you right now that putting and investing $11,000 into your Amazon business will get you a lot further than that old used car would. So let's talk about, after you got your production run, the next cost is the photos and setting up your listing. How much did you spend setting up your listing?
So for photos alone, I hired a photographer. That cost around $270. And for the trademark, I wanted to get brand registry, which is nicer listing with big pictures and infographics and videos. That was another $330.
And trademarks are completely optional. It is a good way to separate yourself out from the competition, but if you don't have the money to do that, don't worry about it.
So in total, I spent over $12,500 to start my business.
But let's get back into month by month, breaking down Michael's sales. And let's get into month number 4. Pay attention, because this is where things start to get interesting and you can start learning some pretty valuable lessons. So break it down. How much revenue and costs and profit did you do in month number 4?
By the end of month 3, I was running out of inventory really quickly, so I knew that I had to place an order fast. So I reached out to my supplier and placed an order for another 1,000 units, but I had a tough call to make. My product was hitting Amazon's choice on some of the best keywords that I had.
Usually a very good thing.
Usually a very good thing, but I knew that I was going to run out of inventory really quickly, and I was selling more units per day than I was ever selling before. So I had to turn off my PPC campaign almost entirely. to help reduce the number of sales I was generating.
So how much revenue did you do in month 4?
So in month 4, I generated $6,700 of revenue.
And then after the product cost, the Amazon selling fees, PPC, all the other costs, how much profit did you do?
So after all the costs, at the end of the day, I made $2,300 in profit.
Still not bad, but obviously there was some danger looming on the horizon because during this month you were running out of inventory.
Right, I was trying to intentionally slow down my sales by reducing my PPC spend and increasing the price of my products. And at the end of the day, I only spent $100 on PPC this month, which is way lower than it was for the previous months.
So let's go into month number 5. Break it down for us. How much revenue, costs, and profit did you do in month number 5?
The first week of month number 5, I ran out of inventory completely. So that month, I only made $560 in revenue.
And then what about breaking down product costs and all that kind of? Obviously, it's going to be a lot smaller.
There weren't many, yeah. But after all the fees, I ended up making $150 in profit that month.
That's still something. I mean, that's still better than you did on your first month, but it's quite a dramatic decline from month number 4.
Right, and my sales rank was decreasing really quickly, and I was getting really worried.
Now, before we get into month number 6, make sure to hit the subscribe button because I'm gonna have Michael back on in 6 months from now, and we'll talk about his first year. But let's go into month number 6, revenue, costs, and profit. How'd you do?
So month number 6, finally, my next batch of inventory got to the Amazon warehouse. So I was able to finally sell units again, and I made $7,800 in revenue.
Now let's break down, what about all the costs?
So after all the costs, at the end of the day, I made a profit of $500 in month 6.
So what happened? How come it was a lot lower profit to revenue?
A lot lower. Because I ran out of inventory in month number 5, my sales rank decreased really quickly, and I was showing up on page 7, 8, 9, and people weren't organically finding my listing anymore. So I knew that I needed to invest harder in PPC to regain that ranking that I had before.
And that brings us to the really big mistake that Michael made that cost him over $12,000. But before we go to that, I just want to say in the first 6 months of Michael selling on Amazon, he did over $40,000 in revenue and over $4,000 in profit. And that's really impressive. So congratulations, first off. That's really amazing. But he could have made even more money if he wouldn't have made this one mistake, and that was running out of inventory. And I want to say something, and almost every beginner Amazon FBA seller does this. They either order way too much or way too little, and don't make this mistake because if you run out of inventory, it's very hard to come back and regain your rank. But even with his mistake, he's gonna come back, he's gonna improve, and he's gonna learn from it. I've made almost every mistake on Amazon that you can, and my business has done over $1 million in revenue, over $300,000 in profit. And in this video over on Michael's channel, we talk step by step how you can start your own passion product. So click on that video. We'll see you on the next video over on Michael's channel, and remember to enjoy the journey. Thanks.